My dad was married to Helen for 7 years, but I was never close to her or her children, who were pre-tweens at the time. Just to clarify, her kids are not my dad's. They're from her ex, who wasn't really around. As a result, her kids lived with us full-time. Dad had me and my brother, who is now 20. Helen's mother passed away 11 years ago, and Dad and Helen's marriage began to unravel about a year ago. He filed for divorce a few months back. Although Helen and her kids have moved out, she expected me and my brother to still be involved in their lives. She claimed we were siblings after the pre-tween years, but we disagreed. We never really paid much attention to her kids or acted like older siblings to them. They did refer to us as siblings, which indicates they saw me as a sister and my brother as a brother, but we never called each other that. Instead, we referred to ourselves as step-siblings, or referred to them as Helen's kids, depending on the conversation. A couple of weeks ago, Helen's youngest had a birthday party. Dad wasn't invited, but my brother and I were, and we chose not to attend. The next day, Helen came to our house while Dad was out and tried to confront me. I didn't open the door, and she yelled at me for a few minutes before leaving. After that, she called my brother multiple times from an unknown number since he had blocked her. Unable to reach him, she approached me while I was walking home from school and demanded we talk. I told her we didn't need to. She wasn't part of my life anymore. She insisted that her kids didn't deserve to lose their siblings because of the divorce. I reminded her that we were never their siblings in the first place. I told her I wouldn't pay more attention to them now that she and Dad were divorcing than I did during their marriage. She argued that I had watched them grow up and asked how I could not adore them. I replied that I hadn't paid much attention to them at all. When she tried to assert her role as a parent, I made it clear that I didn't have to listen to her anymore since she wouldn't be my dad's wife much longer. I told her she had no authority over me and needed to accept the situation, helping her kids come to terms with it instead of bothering us. As I walked away, she called me cold and then went on to complain to Dad about how I disrespected her. Am I the idiot for telling my dad's almost ex-wife that I don't have to listen to her anymore? Asterisk asterisk, not the idiot asterisk asterisk. She's acting like she still has a motherly role, but the divorce papers say otherwise. You don't know her or her kids anything, especially since there was never a sibling bond. She's trying to guilt trip you into a role you never agreed to. Stand your ground. She seems to believe she has more power than she actually does. She must be delusional if she didn't notice you were only reluctantly part of her family. It's inappropriate for her to chase you down after school because you didn't attend her kid's party. Keep her blocked, and if she continues to harass you, inform your dad. Helen sounds like a real nightmare and seems disconnected from reality. Asterisk asterisk, everyone's the idiot here asterisk asterisk. It's clear that Helen could have approached you guys with more kindness. But it's a divorce and tensions are likely running high. You've known those kids since they were toddlers, when they were just starting to make their earliest memories. She's not asking you to provide financial support or babysit them. I believe you should be kind to the kids because they've lost a stepdad they likely saw as a father figure, as well as step-siblings they thought were their real siblings. You don't need to maintain a close relationship with their mom, but showing some kindness to the kids is important. Their whole world is falling apart. I agree that it will be challenging for Helen to explain the situation to her children, but she will probably remarry in 2 or 3 years when her kids are around the same age that OP and her brother were when their dad married Helen. Her new husband may also have children, and that's when Helen's kids will have their I get it now moment and understand why her brother felt ambivalent towards them. I'm a 35-year-old woman, engaged to my wonderful fiancé, Mark, who is 38. He's an incredible guy, smart, funny, and treats me with so much love and respect. The only issue is that he's 5'4". I love his height because it's a part of who he is, but my mom, who is 60, never lets me forget it. From the moment I started dating Mark, she made it clear that she disapproves of him because of his height. At first, I brushed it off, but her comments have only gotten worse over time. She often tells me that I could do better and that I deserve someone taller and more masculine. During one family gathering, she even asked, "How do you feel about being the one who wears the pants in the relationship?" I was furious and embarrassed. We ended up fighting about it, and we didn't speak for a week. When Mark proposed, I hoped my mom would be excited and perhaps come around. I invited her over to celebrate, but instead of being happy for me, she spent the entire dinner mocking Mark. She made comments like, "Just make sure to buy a step stool for your wedding day." It was incredibly embarrassing, and I could see Mark becoming sad and frustrated. She truly ruined this special day for him. After that dinner, I realized I had to make a tough decision. I want my wedding to be filled with love and joy, not my mom's negativity, and I don't want Mark to feel bad about himself on such an important day. So I chose not to invite her. Now she's furious and claims I'm being unreasonable. She says I'm cutting off family over a few jokes about height, and that I'll regret not having my family there. At my wedding, Mark is also happy with my decision. So was I too harsh on my mom? Asterisk asterisk, not the idiot asterisk asterisk, your mother is a bully. Why would anyone want their bully at their wedding? She sounds awful, and honestly, her views are misguided. Being tall doesn't automatically make someone a good person. I know plenty of tall, arrogant idiots. Enjoy your wedding day surrounded by people who love you and Mark for who you are. Make sure to reflect that same energy back to your mother. Consider making some lighthearted comments about her behavior. It's baffling that she thinks she has a right to attend a wedding when she doesn't support her daughter's choice of husband. If she believes you could do better, then she clearly doesn't support your relationship, which is reason enough for her not to be on the guest list. Let's be clear, she's not just making a few height jokes. She's undermining your fiancé and your relationship. If she can't respect him, she doesn't belong at your wedding, plain and simple. Why didn't you call her out after her first disparaging remark? You went a week without speaking, then invited her to celebrate Mark's proposal. Did you really think she'd changed her mind? And yet you allowed her to stay at the dinner, making snide comments about your fiancé. Did Mark just put up with it? You played a significant role in ruining that day for him. Did it ruin it for you too? It's unfortunate that you waited until the wedding to exclude her when you could have set boundaries from the start. You shouldn't have allowed your mother to continuously insult Mark. For context, I'm a 37-year-old woman with a young teen daughter, and we've always had a close relationship. She was a daddy's girl until she discovered he cheated on me. She was the one who told me. Most of you know the saying, once a cheater, always a cheater. The cycle continued. He'd leave his phone open, and I'd see messages from one of his mistresses. He used numerous social media accounts to cheat, and I finally reached my breaking point. I'm considering divorce. I know many will ask why I didn't do this sooner, but I have other children with special needs who need my support, and I'm not letting him get away with this easily. But once they're old enough, I'm divorcing this idiot. Recently, it's been hard for me, and it still hurts, but I'm learning to cope with my daughter's help. Here's where I might have been the idiot. I asked my daughter if she thought he still loved me after everything. She hesitated, not wanting to say the wrong thing, and said it wouldn't matter since we'd be separated soon anyway. That didn't satisfy me, so I told her she wouldn't get in trouble for answering honestly. She said she didn't know. I pushed her to just say yes or no, and she got angry, insisting I should ask him myself. She expressed regret for telling me anything, and said she often felt like a parentified child who had to help me, especially since I had previously made small, critical remarks about him that I won't repeat. Her words genuinely hurt me, and I'm trying to change that behavior. She walked away but later apologized, saying she didn't mean it. Yet, I'm still left feeling hurt. I felt terrible that she felt that way, but I will try to do better and keep her out of my marital issues. However, I still don't think I was as bad as she claims. While it's true that I may have done some of those things, I left out many details when explaining my perspective on May and her father's arguments. I need to know, am I the idiot? Edit. He's cheated on me numerous times. And my daughter's and husband's phones are somehow synced. This means he can see her messages and she can see his. That's how she's finding out about his affairs. She deletes the messages and tells me not to ask her about them. You are the idiot. She's absolutely right in what she said. And it sounds like she's an insightful kid. I'm sure you're struggling, and I'm sorry your husband is putting you in this position. Still, you absolutely need to do better and stop involving your daughter in your issues. You must also recognize that pushing her after she said she was uncomfortable was wrong. What does that teach her about boundaries and autonomy? Your daughter, who is only a young teen, is not your girlfriend. You shouldn't bring her into your romantic relationships. That's between you and your husband. You're likely worse than she's suggesting because you've asked her to care for her younger siblings and had inappropriate conversations with her about her father. It sounds like you could benefit from therapy to get the appropriate help for dealing with your relationship. Honestly, even an adult friend can't answer that question for you. The statement, "I'm learning how to cope with the help of my daughter," really sealed the deal for me. Before even presenting the situation, your daughter should not be responsible for helping you cope. This indicates that the situation might be worse than she realizes or that you need therapy. I used to make small remarks about him that I won't repeat. That statement resonated with me. The entire situation is terrible, and this poor kid should not be caught in the middle. Moreover, if the comments you made about your husband are so bad that you won't share them with strangers, then you shouldn't be saying them to your young teen daughter. For that matter, his young teen daughter shouldn't have to hear awful things said about a parent, even if they're true. They're still her parents, and she still loves them. This poor girl is a young teen. She is a child, not OP's adult friend. OP is the idiot my best friend, a 29-year-old female, and I have known each other for over 20 years. Before this incident, my best friend never cheated on her husband, who is 25. They dated for 4 years and got married just over a year ago. Even during their dating, my best friend was serious about him from the beginning and always praised him. Her husband, on the other hand, he's probably the sweetest guy I've ever met. A bit naive and completely trusting of his wife. He might never suspect she's cheating, even if she were. I have to admit, I was a little jealous of her, wishing I were in her position instead, lol. Anyway, a few days ago, my best friend, some other friends, and I went to a club to have a good time. My best friend got quite intoxicated and was dancing as if she were possessed. There was a guy who kept hitting on her, and she ended up dancing with him for a bit. I started to notice him getting closer to her, and suddenly he grabbed her and kissed her. I thought she might push him away, but to my surprise, she didn't. She actually seemed okay with it. After what felt like a minute, I was intoxicated too. I pulled her away from him and shouted, "Can't you see she's wearing a ring?" He just laughed and said, "It's just a bit of fun, no harm done." Instead of arguing further, I took my friend and left, booking a cab to get her home. When we arrived, her husband thanked me, pulled her aside, and offered to give me a ride home, but I declined and ordered another cab instead. The next morning, my friend called to apologize for what happened and pleaded with me not to tell her husband. I told her no, if she didn't tell him, I would. She begged me, saying she didn't want to jeopardize her marriage over a kiss. I explained that he loves her and is a good man. There's a chance he would forgive her, but she shouldn't hide things from him. She insisted I should be on her side since I was her best friend, and it was just a kiss. I eventually ended the call but felt guilty afterward. So, should I tell him? If I do, I'm sure I'll lose my best friend, which I don't want. But he's such a good guy, he deserves honesty. Am I the idiot for considering telling her husband the truth if she doesn't? Asterisk asterisk, not the idiot asterisk asterisk. If I were in his position, I'd want to know. The sad truth is that these things eventually come to light, and you'll be judged for keeping her cheating a secret. It doesn't matter what morals you think you have. They won't mean anything if you're seen as just another woman complicit in your friend's deceit. Normally, I wouldn't think you're the idiot, but it sounds like you might be reading between the lines. It seems you're a bit jealous of your friend for having such a great husband. I recommend talking this over with her and expressing that it goes against your better judgment not to tell him. Give her one last chance to come clean herself. In other words, don't go behind her back. If you initially promised her you wouldn't say anything, it's okay to change your mind, but let her know first. Asterisk asterisk update. Asterisk asterisk, am I the idiot if I tell her husband the truth if she doesn't? First off, I want to thank everyone who commented and offered advice. While her husband isn't my best friend, he is still a friend. We talk often, play games together, and hang out, etc. He's genuinely a sweet guy. Honestly, even if we weren't friends, I'd still feel compelled to tell him the truth. He doesn't deserve to be lied to, and it's simply the right thing to do. When you're in a committed relationship, especially in marriage, kissing anyone else is just wrong. So I've decided to confront my best friend about this. I called her and said I was coming over to talk. Once I arrived, I urged her to tell him the truth. She broke down in tears, claiming it would ruin her marriage and that he might lose trust in her. I reassured her that it was the right thing to do. He loves her, and there's a strong chance he'll forgive her. What she did was cheating. Kissing someone is a major betrayal. Even excessive physical contact is inappropriate unless it's family. She insisted she didn't want to jeopardize her marriage over a stupid drunken mistake and promised it wouldn't happen again. She begged me not to ruin her marriage by telling him, so I reluctantly agreed and left. However, I ultimately decided to tell him the truth since she had no intention of coming clean. I called him next and asked him to come over for an important conversation. When he asked what it was about, I told him it wasn't something to discuss over the phone. When he arrived, I tried to be as gentle as possible, making him comfortable before diving into the conversation. To keep it brief, I explained everything that had happened. Your wife was very intoxicated and was dancing when a guy approached her. Although she was wearing her ring, he grabbed her and kissed her. Their kiss didn't last long because I intervened and took her home. He was silent and asked if it was true. I confirmed it and assured him I wouldn't lie about this. I told him that I had no proof and it was up to him to believe me or not. I could see he was heartbroken, holding back tears. I hugged him, offering comfort, and suggested that she might not be having an affair. It could just be a mistake. I recommended he check her phone, as she seemed very guilty. After a while, he left without saying much. I don't think he confronted his wife yet since I haven't heard from her, but it was clear he was devastated. Here's my perspective. Men like him are rare. They're not the typical have fun type. They're the spend your life with kind. Cheating on someone like him is unforgivable. He's genuinely sweet and cares deeply for his wife, though he is a bit naive. He fully trusts her and gives her complete freedom, but now that trust has been broken. I don't care if it means losing my best friend. I will distance myself from her. I cannot condone or forgive cheating. It's disgusting. He's the kind of man you don't cheat on, not even for a moment. If I had the opportunity to be with him, I wouldn't hesitate. Men like him are hard to find, and while it's unlikely since he loves his wife more than he loves himself, yes, he's that good. This doesn't mean I'm trying to steal my friend's husband. I'm just trying to do the right thing. Now it's up to him and my friend to decide if he wants to stay married and continue to trust her. I'll maintain my distance from her, but will keep in touch with him, continuing to play games and hang out unless he decides to distance himself from me. No matter what happens, I have no regrets because I know I did the right thing. Forget cheating and those who cheat. Oh, you really need to tell her. Another woman invited her husband for a private meeting, fully aware that he was married and wore a ring. They were both sober, and she even hugged him. She has lied to him too, by omission. She didn't reveal her ulterior motives. She only told him because she thinks he's the best and wants him for herself. That poor guy is being used by everyone. Plus, she insisted he come over. If I ever got a chance to be with him, I would jump at it without hesitation. Men like him are incredibly hard to find. The delusional lies we tell ourselves to justify our forbidden desires. Her master plan has finally come to fruition. The kiss, as described in the first post, feels more like an assault than a passionate encounter. She paints a picture of this man lingering around all night, waiting for my friend to get sloppily drunk before he grabs her and kisses her. Opt was just biding his time for the right moment. And to think this is her best friend forever. I've never understood people who covet their friends or siblings' partners. So desiring her best friend forever's husband is acceptable, but adultery is wrong. My eyebrows shot up while reading that last part. How virtuous of her.